All right, welcome back. Just making sure everything is good here. Making sure you all looking at the right screen. Okay, I want to start this stream off with this story. This story right here was uploaded 18 hours ago. And this story itself was published, I think, like a day or so. Here, like a day ago, if that. So this is the latest dog news. And you all might recognize this because this is the response by the parents of a dog attack victim. Okay? We know what that sounds like. There's a dog attack. The victim is very young. In this case, only 1 year old. And then the parents give their response. Okay? Listen to this.
Top story, nearly.
And let me know if you see a frozen screen or not, because it should be okay.
Top story, nearly 6 months ago, 1-year-old Jariah Johnson died after he was attacked by dogs at his babysitter's home. KENS 5 reporter Mike Jimenez talked with his parents today about the special way they're honoring their baby.
For the parents of 1-year-old Jariah Johnson, the past 6 months have been tough as they learn to cope with his passing.
Little by little, we're pushing through, fighting, taking it day by day, step by step.
In October of 2024, deputies say 1-year-old Jariah was attacked by his babysitter's dogs inside a Northeast Side home. Jariah fought hard for his life inside a hospital ICU, but ultimately died from his injuries.
It's just, yeah, we still cry, of course. It's been a journey.
Now that journey has led Jariah's parents to turn something tragic into a treasure for other children. About a week ago, Jariah's mother, Erica, says she was overcome by a feeling.
I don't know if maybe Jariah saw something we didn't see, and he was like, hey, Mom, make Easter baskets for some kids that don't have Easter baskets or parents who can't afford them.
Jariah's parents are in the process of starting a charity named after Jariah called Jariah's Wings. This is the first of many projects to come. So far, they have 47 Easter baskets made, but are looking for more donations.
Wait, what? You want to start a charity in his name to create Easter baskets for Easter? And it's currently April, the month of April. Really? All I'm saying is, this is not how I would have responded to it if it were my child. But let's continue.
For more donations. Next weekend, they plan on giving out 120 baskets.
And God's work is to give and take care of others, so that's our objective.
Erica says Jariah's Wings is a way to honor him and continue his legacy.
Wait a minute. How? Easter? She said that her son spoke to her from the spirit realm. That's what she just said. She said it, not me. That her son spoke to her from the spirit realm, from heaven, and said, hey, Mom, I noticed something when I was alive. I noticed there are not enough kids with Easter baskets. Huh? I mean, am I allowed to object to this? Because it's objectable. I'm sorry, that's how my brain works. I hear stuff like this and my brain is like, hey, hold on a minute. That don't make sense. Okay.
Donations. Next weekend, they plan on giving out 120 baskets.
And God's work is to give and take care of others, so That's our objective.
Erica says Jariah's Wings is a way to honor him and continue his legacy.
Just thought we'd give back because he's making some changes to the city. He's making changes to animal control. And now with the new law being pushed, that's all my son.
In a couple of weeks, Jariah's parents will testify before the Texas legislature. Currently, there are 2 House bills making their way through the legislature, which would toughen penalties for dog attacks.
We don't want to go through that again or have anybody else go.
Well, if you're toughening penalties for dog attacks, that means this will happen again. Ma'am, you hear what he just said? This new law they're talking about is to toughen the penalties. So nothing's going to be done to prevent this from happening again.
Attacks.
We don't want to go through that again or have anybody else go through what we've been through because it's tragic.
Yeah. That new law won't solve the problem. They have these laws everywhere. In fact, these laws are built in when you look at it from a state to state basis. Some states have harsher penalties than others. They're just going to, change the law in that small area to be on par with what's seen in several other parts of the country. So it's really no change at all. And again, it's not going to stop this from happening again. And definitely the creation of Easter baskets, I don't know what that was all about. That was more like an independent thing on her part, on the parents' part. That, hey, us as parents do something independently outside of the changing of the laws. Okay. I still disagree. If I'm in that position, I'm not going to think to make no Easter baskets. I'm going to do something more like what we do. Let's raise awareness about having these things, at least among babysitters. The boy was at a babysitter's home. They weren't motivated to at least raise awareness hey, this is a bad idea for babysitters to have dogs. Why wouldn't that dawn on you? Why wouldn't that be the first and only mistake to pop into your head after this incident? And this happened last year. And we're still not dealing with reality at all. I mean, if the parents were in their right, normal state of mind, they would have questioned the cause of the tragedy. Easter baskets ain't got nothing to do with what led to this tragedy. So I'm sick of the delusion that people have. I'm sick of hearing it. The general public don't need to hear stuff like this. I'm sorry. We don't need younger people to hear us talking like this. This makes them dumb. We make the younger generation dumb by giving non-answers, non-solutions as solutions. Easter basket. Don't talk to me about no Easter baskets. And don't even talk to me about increasing penalties for dog attacks. Get out my face with that too. These are non-solutions. Can people sound normal for a change? Well, that's what this stream is all about. It is about sounding normal. It's about sounding normal and giving logical solutions to truly prevent stuff like this from happening. See, the real solution They can't take the real solution. It's too much for them. It's too harsh of a reality. Well, my response to that is tough. Deal with it. It's also a harsh reality to have your child unalived at your babysitter's house. So the solution is a harsh reality because it's a solution to a harsh reality, to something that's very insane going on in society. Y'all treating lethal killers, you're pretending as if they're harmless. That's the root of the problem here, okay? Stop playing dumb. Let's see what it feels like to not play dumb. Let's see what it feels like to treat dogs like dogs rather than deities. Because that's what's causing people to have these non-responses. It's this nutter brainwashery. Y'all think these things are just like people, and you think they deserve to exist in society exactly the way that they do, as family members, as best friends to young people. That's why the babysitter had them. That's why these babysitters quite often have dogs at the house. It's based on this stupid lie that kids and dogs have this bond and friendship. More delusion. So like I said, I want to see what it feels like to talk, like a sane person. What would you do? Everybody knows what I'd do. You all know what I would do. What would you do to solve this problem? What would you do to make sure, let's say you have all the power in the world. You got all the power in the world. Whatever you say goes. And they want to say, hey, we want to stop things like this from happening. We want a solution to the dog problem. What would be your solution? To me, there's no way around the removal of them. Euthanize all of them. Because first, you got to deal with, the problems that they present. And in what ways are they a problem to society, right? So a whole bunch of things will have to stop. You see, if you ask some people, they'll just say, oh, just get rid of the fighting breeds. There's a huge fan. There's a lot of people who would co-sign that. All we need to do, get rid of the fighting breeds, right? The bull breeds. Get rid of those. Those are not pets. And then they'll say that all of the rest of the dogs are okay. No, they're not. Y'all will find that out real fast. Because you know what's going to happen? You know what will happen if suddenly bully breeds were gotten rid of for safety purposes? People would replace them with the closest thing. And that would be what? Huskies, German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, dogs that are just as dangerous, just as vicious, can inflict just as much damage, and will quite often launch the same style of attack. Right? The bite, hold, and shake. Wait a minute now. This is actually a good photo. Let's see about this. There you go. Dogs are deities in today's world. So once they replace the bully breeds with these other dogs, the statistics will hike right back up. They may even be just as bad as they were when people own bully breeds. They may even be just as bad. Then, so what would happen? Now people will look for a solution again, all over again. All because you ain't do it right the first time. Right? That's the problem with these laws in the UK, where they've banned different types of bully breeds, but allowed people to use or own other types of bully breeds. You know, they only restricted certain types of bully breeds. That's not a solution. And they know it. That's exactly why they did that. They didn't want to. Anywhere you find pit bull bans, they only ban certain bully breeds. And they do that to appease the lovers of bully breeds. Because they know true lovers of bully breeds don't care. Oh, we can't have an American Staffordshire Terrier? Fine. I'll get a Bull Terrier, a Great Dane, a Cane Corso. I'll get a Bulldog. I'll get a Mastiff. They don't care. They just like to put up a fuss. You know how people are. People just like to complain. They look for something to complain about, basically. But the true solution, get rid of all of them. Now, my solution, all large dogs gotta go, just euthanize them. These things are worthless. They're not human. They're nothing close to being human. They're not even on the same level as natural animals. Natural animals. Yes, dogs are not natural animals. We don't have to respect them. That's the thing we need to realize first of all. We don't owe these things any type of respect at all. And it's not just getting rid of them. A lot of things will have to stop. These therapy dog programs will have to stop. Obviously, because we're about to nuke them all. Right? President Trump is up there, Elon Musk. And, you know, they got the chambers ready for these things. And people will say, oh, what about the small dogs? What about the tiny, tiny dogs? Those need to go too. You see, because these are mutants. They could easily mutate into larger dogs. Then we'll be doing the same thing over again. And aside from that, those small dogs can cause a lot of damage and they still harm our health. Because as we just found out, people still do inhumane things with these dogs, even the small dogs. We don't need that. Personal safety is not the only reason why these things should be gotten rid of. Remember, just in 2020, we had a complete global lockdown. And it was because of health reasons. And we still haven't pinpointed the true cause or origin. And they still have not pinpointed the major contributors to the spreading of it. Haven't pinpointed that out. So no, I don't agree with these things lingering around at a time like this. You talking about an unknown number of people who are being unalived by a virus, a bug, a respiratory infection. Are you crazy? Dogs always have respiratory infections. Always. A huge chunk, maybe even the majority of these infections they have, people look them up. They're respiratory. Now, for dogs to have respiratory, they're the worst creatures to have respiratory infections. Why? Because they always got their stupid mouths hanging wide open. They always got saliva splashing all over the place. They would have to be the most effective at spreading respiratory infections easily. What do you think the mask was all about? The mask was about controlling the droplets, the vapors that come out of your mouth when you speak and breathe. We're talking about like microscopic vapors that travel through the air. If you have saliva in your mouth and you're exhaling, you're contaminating the atmosphere with your saliva, with those vapors and droplets. Well, dogs go far beyond what humans do. Humans, we don't walk around with our mouths hanging open like that, slobbering and drooling nonstop, shaking every 5 minutes, throwing and splashing saliva all over the place. If we did, we'd be far more effective at spreading respiratory infections. So I don't care how small they are. And you look at the fact these diseases that these people contract, doing these nasty things with these dogs. Y'all heard what that lady was doing with this dog, and they was small dogs. And then that lady would do what? Go have relations with humans and pass whatever she got from that dog to that person passed to somebody else. We don't need people in the world like that. No. This is why back in the day, you get caught doing something like this in many societies, they just get rid of you. You know, they'd stone you. You're doing something immoral like this. Many of these these old civilizations we hear about where people would get stoned for doing things, certain things, we thought was kind of overboard. No. You got to live in line with the community if you want to benefit from what the community produces and provides for you, which is security and an endless number of things that enhance your quality of life. You can't be out here doing inhumane, nasty, dangerous stuff like getting it popping with your dogs. And listen, you don't have to engage in behaviors like that for you to contract infections from them. All you have to do is be in possession of them. These things are too nasty to be kept as pets. That's the bottom line. And when you're talking about large dogs, they are too dangerous. Too dangerous. So I say just get rid of all of them. You know what? I don't care what dog lovers, stop it. Because if you get rid of all of them, guess what? Stuff like this will never happen again. We won't have to sit up and listen to another non-solution offer as a solution ever again. And we need to get into the habit of solving problems rather than offering failed solutions. That makes everybody dumb. Right? That's how you make a population of people dumb. Why should we expect anybody to be able to solve problems if we can't lead by example? This is a simple problem to solve. Currently, there are no restrictions on these things in the laws. Just like you heard, this babysitter had dogs. Some of these babysitters advertise themselves and their services by including the fact that they have dogs over here. Shouldn't that be banned? See, dog lovers don't want to say, yeah, I think that should be illegal. Well, if you think that should be illegal, then you also agreed that they shouldn't even be inside of a home, period. Because if babysitters shouldn't have them, then you shouldn't have them. You saying the babysitter shouldn't have it in their home, then you, the parent, shouldn't either. Because you're saying that's an unsafe home. Can't make this up. We got to start using our brains. We have to. Okay? But I understand there are dog culture critics out there who are not as extreme as old IHD. Not as extreme. Maybe you think they should be sent to a shelter, right? Don't exterminate them. Don't euthanize all of them. Let them live out their little worthless life in a shelter somewhere or something like that, right? But, why? Why? Let's hurry up and use those and reroute those resources. Look at how it'll benefit us to get rid of them rather than pass more laws. That's just more work. And the use of our resources for these things would continue. Why are we mass producing for these things anyway? See, looking at the trauma that they cause so many people and families. Dog lovers, they kill me, always bragging about how wonderful dogs are. As if stories like this don't pop up every day. Dogs are horrible for society. No matter how you cut it. And I look at dog ownership as a way to test a person's IQ. That's just where I am with it at this point. You own a small dog, you're not in tune with what it takes to maintain good health. You're not. And on top of that, remember, let's say it's a nation full of small dogs. Let's say we get rid of all the large dogs, right? And they replaced them all with small dogs. Now everybody has small dogs. Well, guess what? Those dogs are still going to come in between human relationships. Those problems will still exist. The severe attacks, that's just one problem dogs pose to humans. You're still going to have people putting those dogs over their family members. You're still going to have dogs barking, causing neighbors to have fallouts. Right? We don't need that. They're going to, they're going to bring small dogs into these schools as therapy dogs. They're going to focus on using small dogs. And that problem will still exist. Right? Trying to put dogs over the students. Hey, look, the angels are here. No, keep that out of the schools. Just like Trump is trying to clean the schools up, most people, I think, agree schools need to be cleaned up. I mean, what's going on here? You go to a school where there's some, 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, right? And then you see a transgender pole dancer performing for them. Huh? I mean, a pole dancer of any kind is questionable. Schools need to be cleaned up. So this is right in line with it. Just like you wouldn't object to cleaning up the schools, cleaning that up out of these schools, you shouldn't object to this. Because bringing those dogs in there, no stupid therapy dogs, we all know them kids, they don't feel lonely. They're not feeling stress or anxiety. The only stress and anxiety that's being caused is by you, the adults, trying to tell them that they should love and rub on a dog, putting pressure on them like that. That causes stress and anxiety. Right, here we go again, goofy teacher want us to rub and pretend like this dog is all wonderful again. That is annoying. Why do you think some of those students don't interact with these dogs? Why do you think that is? Because you're clearly turning many of them off. You don't refer to those students when you have your news broadcasts. You act like they don't exist, and you pretend as if all the students at the school were dog fanatics, when we know they're not. We can see it on camera. Many of them refuse to rub and interact with these dogs. Get them out of the school. They have no place. And if you ask me, CNI dogs, get rid of them. Don't need those either. I don't talk about service or especially emotional support dogs. Get you emotional support rabbit. Get you something else. Now, if y'all do your research, you'll find some companies are now using cats. They're replacing dogs with cats, saying that cats are just as effective as therapy animals. If you ask me, the whole therapy animal industry is animal abuse. That's not what they're on this earth for. They're not here to be hauled around from school to school by you idiots, by you control freaks. Okay? That's why y'all drug them up first, so that they'll accept being manipulated and hauled around and introduced into several different environments. You drug them up. Animal abuse. And it's irrefutable y'all drug them up the way they always fall asleep when they're inside these environments. You're drugging them up, hauling them here, hauling them there. Stop it. And what are you going to do? You can't control the mind of these animals. Cats don't like to be manipulated like that. They're not dumb like dogs. They're not food obsessed, brood parasites like dogs. They could very well get tired of being treated like a toy and use their claws. What are you going to do? Start declawing them? More animal abuse. Y'all not really animal lovers. Y'all being animal lovers does not have to amount to you manipulating their existence. That's a form of disrespect. It proves you're not a real animal lover. You want to move them here, put them in a cage there, force them to do this, do that. Get out of here. You're just crazy. You tell me about how much you love something. You're just a lunatic looking to act out your lunacy in some way. Now, I view this subject as one that's like, it's invincible. You can always come back to it. And I want to use this stream to just start the discussion. What do you think should be done? There's a lot of potential solutions, but what do you think should be done? I'm going to open the lines up for the members only for next weekend. So if you would like to get on, let us know what your solution is. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you agree with all the points that I've laid out. I want to skip changing laws and all this stuff, increasing penalties. Let's forget about all that. Because that's another way of giving dogs more chances and treating them like they're human. I'm not with that. Oh, increasing penalties especially, man, no. That's not preventative. That still tells people and suggests to people you have to accept being attacked. No, I'm not with that. If we're going to change laws, the laws should be about euthanizing them. You got a dog in here? You better not. All dog lovers, surrender your dogs, or we're going to do like China. We're going to show up at your front door and we're going to take them and euthanize them for you. Just like cops already do. They'll euthanize dogs at the site. They've caused enough bloodshed. They've caused enough funerals. Gotten on enough people's nerves. They've impacted our health. in a negative way long enough. It's time that we free ourselves from these things and finally experience evolution. So, hopefully y'all got my email. If not, I'll leave my email. I promise to leave my email. I know I forgot it a couple times. I'll leave my email. And if you want to hop on next weekend and tell us your great idea. I know a lot of people want to sound humane. I get it. You don't want to sound like an evil person. But man, I don't agree with none of that. Being politically correct. Why? If it involves me not telling the truth, I'm not trying to be politically correct. Okay? Everything I say can be proven. It's irrefutable. You can say what you want. Y'all eat meat freely. Most of you dog lovers, you eat all types of animals anyway. You don't care nothing about their life. Y'all look at these other animals as if they exist to be slaughtered. As if being slaughtered is specifically why they're here on earth. So now don't give me no lecture. Oh, that's so mean. No. You already co-signed with the mass slaughtering of animals. You animal lover. Shout out to all of you able to join me for this live stream. Unless you have a disagreement, the stream key will only be available to the members. Unless you have a disagreement, I'm willing to allow you to get on. If you have a channel or something and you think that dogs should continue to exist in society the way that they are, I'll let you hop on even if you're not a member of the channel. Okay? So I look forward to next weekend, and I hope you all can join me as we continue with this crusade.